All right, guys, we're back. Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 9. I'm going to go ahead and start out talking about Dom and Mac. So, this episode is when we all get to see how they ended up parting ways. And I'm going to say backwards, when I looked at the after show, Dom said that one of the motivations for her to say no was because McKinley continues to have different conversations with her in private, and then he has a different demeanor and discussion when he's in front of other people. So I actually agree with a lot of the other people that she's probably too young, for this process. I also think that she could have given the situation more time just to be sure. So, like, I'm waiting on Eris. I've seen him in the honeymoon, but I'm still not willing to write him off, like I said, until after I'm seeing his dynamic with living, with Jasmine. So she could have made notes and just kind of put a pin in it until she actually got verification that this is what she thought she was seeing, in him. So I do think that she quit the process, too soon. And I really honestly appreciated, what Dr. Cal had to say to her. The other thing is I haven't heard anyone as of yet talk about McKinley. And I clipped it, and those flashbacks down there from the last episode where he said that he was vague. He was vague on his, information that he gave to Married at First Sight. But then when you go and listen to him, and it's clipped, there's a Lifetime clip. Anytime there's a Lifetime clip, I'm not going to clip it. So I clipped as much of the group interaction up until that point with them. And so if you listen to him, at first he says that we decided. And then he turns around and says that he was blindsided. So that gives me an idea of what she's talking about, because there's no way that we can decide something and then you're still blindsided by something that I said. So that is a discrepancy. But most people aren't paying attention to what's being said in here. They're getting bits and pieces of the information, and then they're making all of these hard and fast blanket statements about these people when we aren't getting the whole full picture of what their relationship is like. The stuff that we are able to see and hear, you would think that they'd be paying more attention to, but that's just where we are, in our jacked up, society. So, he can't have it both ways. You're not going to tell me that you were vague, but then you know what you want. You're not going to tell me that we decided, but then she blindsided you. See, I'm not going to listen, to that information. Some of the stuff that, based on what I've seen, so far, from the honeymoon to her going to visit his place, to him going to visit her place, I can see some of the stuff that she's talking about. He picked the wrong time to have an argument, number one. Then he picked the wrong subject. She doesn't feel about animals the same way that he feels about animals. So then when he gets mad at her about dogs that he's not even making the effort to bring into his current life in Nashville, really makes him sound stupid. I mean, Dom and Eris feel about the same way with dogs. I'm really surprised that Eris is really extending himself to meet Jasmine up to this point with her dogs. But the thing with Jasmine is that she is active in her dog's life. So that actually, is a difference, as well. So McKinley in my opinion, and now that I'm talking about it, let me note this, I got to put a flashback down there, and I want you guys to hear for yourselves, and I think it's already down there, but I'll do it again, where he said that he broke up with somebody to come on this show. And that kind of energy carries over. You can't do that kind of stuff to somebody and then think that it's not going to come back on you. Again, I hear nobody in this space that's reviewing these shows that even considers any information, like that. Oh, well, Dom is this. Oh, she's immature. Oh, she's this, that, and the third. See, I don't even like that. Okay, there are two people in this marriage. Just like it takes two people to make a baby, it takes two people to make a marriage. So Dom is not the only person in this marriage that helped it get to this point. And I hope that somebody out there can understand what I just said. So it's the dogs, it's his negativity. I don't want a man that calls himself a loser. I just don't want to hear it. And I don't want to hear him bitching and whining when it's really not that hard. I mean, I wasn't the most adventurous, person either. But if I see something, I actually went horseback riding. I had an opportunity to go horseback riding years ago. Haven't been again, but it was one of the great experiences. And I'm glad I left myself open, to do it. And I wasn't bitching and moaning. I was like, okay, let's do it. And that's it. That's what she wants to hear. And so I think Matt gets it in his head that just because she got married to him, then that means that she's more committed than some other woman, would be. He wasn't any more committed to the last woman that he was seeing. And that was just before this experiment. That's another thing I've been harping on. If these men think they can go out the day before they get married and go and have sex with somebody and then think that they're going to have a successful relationship with this next person that they finna go get married to, then there's something wrong with you. And nobody is giving him any smoke for the mess that he brought into this. What else? I have plus... I said he's one way on camera and then he's one way in private. So I think those things, she's like, yeah, no. And then too, when she was talking with her mother, she was saying that she was disappointed because she actually expected him to be more collected and more just on his stuff. Being 36 years old, and he gave me 20 some odd vibes. With the way that he communicated himself, with the way that he had his life set up, so I'm sure that there are 20-year-olds out there with money, that don't have any life experience to be able to match the money that they have. And that kind of goes to me with McKinley. So you got money. So you've been in cannabis. But the energy that you're bringing to me doesn't tell me that this is a 36-year-old man that's gone through something. And when I was 36 years old, I was nowhere near where I am right now. So, and then so with men, it's like what they're supposed to be. So if he's 36, then really he is a mind of a 29 or a 30-year-old. And it showed. And I'm not mad at Dom. I wish that she had given it, more of a chance. But I'm not going to be mad at her, for making this decision either. And like I said, I appreciated what she was told, by the expert. And so, yeah, I have a flashback. So I guess I'll do Kirsten and Shaquille. One of the things that I'm looking for with Kirsten is to see her level of seriousness. Because a lot of people don't understand that these marriages can be annulled. I remember, who is it? Shoot. It was, I want to say her name was Michaela. It was two black couples. It was a black woman and a black man. And this joker was lying so much. It was ridiculous. If I remember their names and their season, and I'll see Mika. Her name was Mika. It was Mika and another dude. Michael. I want to say his name might have been Michael, but I'll put a Lifetime clip in the comment, or the description box, either one of them, and I'll let you know who I'm talking about. And she actually said that when she went in front of the judge, that he just disintegrated, the marriage. So they didn't have any, sexual relationship or anything. And I think Dom is going to be able to get that marriage, annulled as well. And I'm wondering if this is what Kirsten is thinking about doing. Because if she manages to get out of this without consummating, the marriage, she can actually get out of this with an annulment and then go and level up with somebody better in her mind. I'm not saying that Shaq would be better. I'm saying in her mind, she could go and get somebody better than him. And I'm just telling you, this is just me thinking. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope that they, make it to decision day and they're, that their marriage is successful and that they become a solid couple. Just throwing that out there. Okay? So, and then I clipped the whole housewarming, thing down there. And she doesn't like kissing. No, I'm not going to do that with Kirsten. I found out that she's a Delta. Her line sister, Jasmine, has a YouTube channel. And she said, that's how I found it. It just popped up in the shorts. I wasn't looking for anything. It said that my best friend, Kirsten, is on Married at First Sight or something like that. And then I found out that she's in Delta Sigma Theta. And I haven't decided yet. Depends on how long I talk on this video. But I like to be able to link something that I found where this guy is talking about the boule. I don't agree with everything because I think he votes Republican. And I don't vote for Republicans or Democrats. I actually vote for issues. So I vote for referendums. And I thought that what he was saying about the boule was very interesting. So if I can, add some of that, onto here, I will do that. And I want you guys to be able to go and just really listen to it. And then, if you're interested, you can go and look at the link and go and listen to the, her video. Like I said, I don't agree, with everything, that he says. But what he's saying about the boule, oh, yeah, I totally and completely, agree with him. So that's all I have on Kirsten and Shaq. And so, Eris and Jasmine. I wanted to say this on the last video. Eris reminds me of Keith Manley. And I can't remember his season. But his wife, Iris, I loved Iris. And once Keith found out that she was a virgin, for some reason, that jacked up his head. And he wasn't able to get past any of that. And they ended up, getting divorced when Iris, wanted to stay married. And I find him disgusting. I find Keith Manley just disgusting. The other thing I wanted to say in the last video that I didn't put in here is that I actually would appreciate it if Eris would just really sit down with Jasmine's dad. He didn't have a dad, after a certain age. So maybe just talking to her dad may be able to give him a level of perspective. And then he can actually just chop it up. He can give his perspective on her dogs. I think her dogs and something about her physical that's throwing him off. A lot of people are talking about her teeth. I don't think that her teeth are so jacked up that he shouldn't be able to get past it. But that may be a thing, in his head. I know them dogs is a barrier, I know they are. They are a barrier, between them. And I'm hoping that when he actually sees her athleticism, especially if he goes and see, her work with, the kids, maybe that will help him, frame his thoughts differently. And this next coming episode, he's going to be sick with COVID. So I really hope that Jasmine is able to step up in that role and really affirm what he thinks that he understands about her, up until this point. And so he meets with his cousin, Felina. And the thing that disturbed me the most about everything that she's done this far is how she takes her attitude on Jasmine. However she feels about Eris, I ain't mad at her because I totally understands that she understands who he is. My problem with her is the way that she treats Jasmine. So I thought that she was giving him some pretty decent advice. I put on the after party Jasmine's opinion about her advice. So I invite you guys, to go down there and look at that for yourself. So, Jasmine and Eris had a conversation about who they were going to invite to the housewarming. And when he said Felina, he knew based on the energy that she gave him after that she wasn't interested in having Felina. So just because she didn't say anything, Eris, doesn't mean that you don't know how she felt. And she already told you how she felt after the brunch. And I'm sure you probably had talked to Felina or somebody before you met with her before the housewarming party. And he still invited her anyway, and she said that she wasn't interested in coming. So then when he went back and told Jasmine, this is clipped down there too, she said good. So you know that it's a common feeling between the two of us. I don't want her at my party, and she don't want to be at my party. And one of the reasons why Felina said that she wants to keep herself separate is because she doesn't think that it's going to last. And I actually can't fault her, for that. Because, like I said, she knows Eris. I'm tired of hearing people accusing them of being kissing cousins. It's really kind of disgusting. You think that she's disgusting, but you guys are disgusting for continuing to run a narrative, and you don't have any proof. That just makes me, that's disgusting. So we're going to move to Clint and Gina. Gina decides that she's going to move in. They're in separate bedrooms. I thought this was really a good episode, for them. I thought it was a good episode for the housewarming. And I thought it was good when they actually got together with the couples. And she really complimented Clint on his cooking. And she complimented him on just the vibe that he was giving with all the women, that were there. Because he was the only dude at the event. So it was nice for her to know that he could be that level of comfortable around a whole bunch of women, which I actually think is nice too. It's nice, to be able to be around a man that actually really likes and appreciate, feminine, energy. And so that was nice. The thing with Clint, he was talking to his friend, and I clipped that down there, and he's still talking about the ginger, hair. I don't even hear Gina talk about ginger hair no more, and I hope I don't hear her talking about it. And Clint needs to shut up about it too. The dog is not the same thing as a romantic partner. One of the people that she was talking to, and one of the things that I clipped down there, she has gingerish, hair. It's probably dyed. And she doesn't, dislike that woman. She's talking about somebody that's going to share her bed and that's going to share her most intimate parts, Clint. You're going to have to do something with this whole ginger, conversation. The thing I did appreciate, with him when he was in the group, he did say that he really wants to know her. Not just her grown self, but just who she was as a child, what things she experienced, in order to make her be the woman, that she is today. And even Nicole gave him, props for, what the positive thing, that he had, to say about Gina. And I actually, agree with her. That is the most just positive human thing, that I've heard him say about her, especially, throughout this whole kerfuffle, with the ginger hair and the slender, comments. So I'm with Nicole and Chris, and I thought that they had a successful flamingo, party. I thought that there was some good, compromise. Chris wanted to do buffalo chicken sandwiches, and she said that she wanted the food to match the theme, and he was cool with that. She got these shirts that she thought that might be funny, and she gave him the space and opportunity to say, if you want me to do it, then yeah, I'm fine, but if I have to say it on my own, then yeah, no, it's just not me. And she was like, okay, if you don't want to wear it, I want you to be comfortable and happy, at your party. So I'm not offended, and I really actually appreciated, her for that. He was the complete opposite of Mitch, but I'm gonna stand up for Mitch in that um who was it? Christian didn't really give him the option, because it was a gag that the wives had decided they were going to play on their husbands. So she really just asked him, just do this, for me for 5 minutes. And he agreed to do it for 5 minutes, and then he had to go and put his other shirt on, because he needed to be Mitch. But Chris didn't do that, and we really appreciate, his cooperation. And so at the group gathering, Nicole said that she blew his back out. And I thought that was funny. And I also liked the conversation that she had, with her friend. So I think that's it. Did I talk about everybody? I think that's it for everybody. It's going to be a short, episode. And I actually want to be able to kind of talk about, this boule thing. Mayor of Montgomery, Alabama. Now his name is Stephen Reed. Hold on. And we always talk about the black politician. Well, ladies and gentlemen, is this gonna work?
Today about the mayor of Montgomery, Alabama. Now his name is Stephen Reed. And we always talk about the black politician, how they don't really do much for black people at all. Every time I see some of the black politicians, I'm also going to start deep diving and looking into their paperwork. Not their paperwork of where they're from, because some people want to go on the guise of if he's from this country or not. He is. But no, I want to know a simple thing when I start looking into the paperwork. And so far, what I'm starting to learn is that every mouthpiece that's out there nationally upheld by them folks is Boule members. But let's get to what is the controversy right now with Stephen Reed. We're going to play what this audio that has came out about him, that it was put out there, whoever recorded it. I'm glad you recorded it. Thank you very much, because the black American community needs to find this out. Black folks go up there with their silly voting practices, and they voting on skin color, a lot of them. They're not voting on issues. They're not voting on anything. Just because he's black, I'm going to vote for him, which is silly. Some people may say, well, white folks do the same thing. Why are you always trying to copy white folks? That's your problem now. That's why you're in the condition that you're in. We're not them people. So let's go ahead on and play this.
Don't ask me. I can come smile. I don't have to do no work. Okay? I don't have to do no work systemically, and I'm going to be fine. And guess.
Okay, so he says that all he got to do is smile. He don't have to do no work. He don't have to do nothing systemically. Now, systemically means, when we talk about systemic racism, things that affect the people that voted for him in his community. He don't have to do anything. Okay, now let's continue. And you wonder why the black community is the way it is. That black politician and that black preacher is some of the two most detrimental people in the black community. I will tell you this much. I will say that black politician and that black preacher is worse to me in this community than the white supremacists. Yes, I said it. They're worse than the white supremacists because they affect us every day a lot more than the George Floyds or the Tyree Nichols or anybody else. That's not happening every single day, but this black politician is affecting us every day. Well, let's continue.
what? I will always get 38 to 45% of the white vote. If I get 30 to 45% of the white vote, I don't have to damn get the black vote I got this past election.
So he's saying that if he can get 35 to 45% of the white vote, he can care less about the black vote. He don't even care about y'all. If let me tell you something. If them folks are propping you up and if them folks voting for you at a rate of 38 to 45%, then you know good and well you bought, paid for, sold, and raccooned out. This is why he said that I don't really care about the black vote. Well, let's continue.
You got black city, that's great. You can have all black everything. And guess what? You won't have green nothing. The white money, things that you are looking after, they will take this to Prattville, they will take this to Pike Road, and you won't have it.
All right, so you heard that. He wants the white man's monies. He needs the monies. And he said that if you don't take care of their things, they're going to take their money away and take it up the Pike Road, okay? Wherever that is, I guess that's more of an affluent area or whatever. I'm not from Montgomery. Some of you brothers and sisters are. So he's not the only one that talked this way. He just got caught. He isn't the only one that feels this way. This is the same mindset that's in the Democrat Party about black folk. And you wonder why black folks are in the condition that we're in. Because a lot of you silly black American folks go vote for somebody just because they black. You don't pay attention to the issues. You don't pull their paperwork. You don't put them on the hot seat of what they're going to do for black folk. You just see a black face and say, I'm going to vote for them. Have y'all learned your lesson that we have plenty of black faces that represent white supremacy? And this man is just one of many. Look, in my opinion, and how I see things and what's going on in the black American community politically, every black politician is a black face of white supremacy to me that work for them folks. And until they prove to me that they're not, I'm going to say that that's what they leanings are, because we can look at the results in our black community. But as I was deep diving a little bit here, trying to find out more about him, I said, do he have any boule ties? That's one thing I wanted to find out. Did he have any boule ties? And then, look on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Omega Psi-Phi's Stephen Reed was just elected the first black mayor of Montgomery, Alabama. Have y'all noticed a pattern here? Now, on my African Diaspora News channel, we was talking about Steve Harvey, Boule member, D.L. Hewley, Boule member, Ricky Smiley, Boule member. All these people that's constantly talking to you are from the Boule. Now, as we scroll down here, they're talking about him, whatever, don't care about him at all. He don't like black people. Reed in spring 1998, initiate of the Theta Alpha chapter of Omega Psi-Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Boule. They don't look like they ain't been through nothing in a day in their life. Look at them. And then as you scroll down, oh, look, ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Smiley. Let's play this.
Hey, what up? This your boy Ricky Smiley, man. Hey, Montgomery, it's about that time. Tomorrow is going down in the gunk, baby. Make sure y'all get out and vote, man. Stephen Reed for mayor. Make sure y'all get out and vote. Montgomery has an opportunity to elect his first African-American mayor. And Steve's a good dude. That's my frat brother, and I love him to death. And you can hear him in the morning on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Make sure, show your love for Stephen.
Okay, so he's promoting his fellow Boule member, ladies and gentlemen. And then you heard the tape of how he really feel about black people. The first black, right? Listen, we need to get over that first black crap. They don't listen, at this point in the game, if they don't come through the grassroots, if you don't know them from grassroots work, grassroots activism, anything with grassroots, and they coming through that education system here in America, and you start pulling listen, nothing wrong with getting a college degree. So I don't want to say people that college educated is a problem. That's not what I'm saying. But if you see and you find out they're part of the Divine Nine, which is the Boule, if they're part of that, then I have to go along to say you part of the enemy of black America. You're the enemy of black America because you cannot sit at the table of white supremacy and at the feet of white supremacy, wanting the crumbs of white supremacy, and also serve black people at the same time. Because white supremacy and black America cannot coexist with each other. And I don't know why some black folks really think that can happen. In order for you to try to coexist with white supremacy, you're going to bow your knee and you're going to sell your people out. I'm going to tell you something else. And this is something that I've discussed many times. I even had this conversation shortly, even with Sister Demetria. One of my partners a few years ago, we were talking about black America, talking about the voting, talking about the failed family structure we have now, talking about the whoredom, talking about all these alternative lifestyles that's been put on black America and how black folks are defending that. And electing a party that's trying to push all that stuff in the continent of Africa. But see, one thing they don't know about the Africans that I know about them, they're going to fight back. They're not going to sit there and just let Biden and the Democrats push that mess in their community. Black folks go run out and vote for a Democrat party that believe drag queens need to be reading with children. Drag queens gyrating in front of children. Black folk in America, you just as wicked as that white supremacist because you go vote for a party that promotes that crap. You just as wicked. It's not just them, it's you. You put Biden in office, and now look what's happening in Kenya right now. Look what's happening. Jill Biden shows up one day. They done something to their Supreme Court up there to allow some of that mess to come in. All of a sudden, after they get $16 billion in aid. They up here telling President Museveni in Uganda, because they just put in a law about LGBT over there, and they threatening them, talking about, well, you don't rescind that, we're going to take away aid. When Trump was in there, they ain't had that problem. That's why I say, black America, you just as wicked too. You're part of it because you vote for that mess at a rate of 80 plus 90%. But what I had said with my homeboy at the time, and he was telling me, look, Phil, look, I'm going to tell you, you may not want to hear this, and this may sound harsh, bro. He said, but black America, for real, man, we finished, bro. We finished. He said, currently, right now, what we doing, we can't sustain the community. He said, the white man just cut us all off tomorrow. What can we really sustain on our own? He said, we too dependent on them. We said, at one point in time, we wasn't. He said, but we too dependent on them. He said, and the people that want to do for self, like really believe in that, they ridiculed, they attacked. You can't get a bunch of them people together because somebody will come in the midst to try to break that up. And you say, man, all we can, he said, bro, all they gotta really be just, all gotta go. He said, they gotta go somewhere, but I don't know. He said, we just need to get the decent people in black America and start over from scratch. He said, that's just where we at with it. We gotta just chuck this up to a loss. He said about 80-90% of them ain't no good. We gotta get the small percentage of us that's decent, that can really do something and rebuild. Either we rebuild, we move somewhere else in America and start our own communities and rebuild, or move somewhere where they can't follow us, like out the country, and rebuild. He said, that's the only thing we could do, bro. He said, if we want to save our particular community, because in America, no, it's not going to happen. And at the time, I'm like, well, come on, bro. You think it's that bad? But I'm going to tell you what, after that conversation we had about 2 years ago, I agree with it 100%. I agree. And you may not like what I'm saying, but you agree too. You agree. We can't get along for nothing. We keep doing the same things that hurt our community, and we don't care. We don't care. You literally will have black folk swear allegiance to a Democrat Party. You vote for nothing but boule members who are anti-black. They just sit up there to keep you in line. They are the black overseers on the plantation in America. America's a plantation. They are the black overseers. They are the Stevens that we seen on Django Unchained. That's them. Stephen was treated a little bit better on the plantation. Stephen was in the house. Stephen was at the right hand of the slave master. Stephen had a decent position on the plantation. And y'all will most people despise the Stevens on the plantation. Couldn't stand them. Y'all love them. Y'all love them. Y'all vote for them. Y'all go listen to their comedy shows. Y'all go listen to their radio shows. Like, y'all go listen to everything with these people. You vote how they tell you to vote. Like I said, we are done. Notice none of these people promote black economics. Notice none of these people promote families getting together. They don't promote nothing good for us as a community. Have you noticed that? And y'all still will go out and support these people. I'm talking about the majority. I'm not talking about the smart people like you who listening. I'm talking about the majority. We still have people so silly politically that you're only going to vote for somebody because of their skin color instead of voting for them based on what they're going to do for us.
So yeah, I just wanted to be able to play, that part of, that video. I'll link it and you can listen to it. My thing is, and what he's saying, you're gonna have to pick a side. You guys are gonna have to pick a side. I pick humanity because, we're so jacked up and our culture is like scrambled eggs at this point where you can't separate one from the other. I was out the other night and I ran into this sister, swore up and down she was a Christian. Oh, I love Jesus this, I love Jesus that. Now she got a boyfriend that doesn't know anything about Jesus. So when I'm having a conversation with him, she ends up defending him because she feels like, and he felt like that I was, saying something offensive. And I wasn't trying, to be offensive. I was just trying to have a conversation, with him. And my thing to her is, it's like being unequally yoked. And she didn't want to hear it. But then when she was separate from him and she was talking to us, she was like, he can't believe in Jesus. And it was a whole different conversation. But then now you sitting up trying to defend him, knowing that this man doesn't believe in the same thing that you say you fundamentally, believe in. It's never going to work. She's going to end up giving X amount of time. I don't know how long, they're going to be together. But it's not going to work. And it isn't. It's not going to work. Either you're going to believe in the Word of God or you're going to believe in the stuff that society, is telling you. And you can treat people like human beings. I don't not treat people, like human beings. If I have a problem with somebody, it's because they had a problem with me. And that's just the way, that I roll. So I really invite, everybody, out there who swears that they love the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You guys are gonna have to choose, because a choice is gonna be made for you. It's a default. It's called a default choice. So if you say, okay, well, I can do this, that, and the third, and I can, do whatever, it's still a default choice. You're still defaulting, even if you say Jesus, but you live in non-Jesus, you're defaulting to non-Jesus. And that's just the way that it is. I don't care what your mind, tells you. I don't care what your preacher, tells you. I don't care what your mama and what your daddy, tell you. There's a universal truth. There's a thread of truth that runs through all of this. And you're either on one side of it or you're on the other. So I wanted to be able to put that boule, part in there. Because, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. And when I see Kirsten and Shaq, it really breaks my heart. Breaks my heart, especially when I see a person like Shaq, who is all into, his his fraternity. And he even was in Kirsten's house. He's like, well, where are your pictures at? Where are your line sisters? And where are your this, that, and the third? And it kind of makes me wonder, too. I heard some other people saying that is maybe a staged place because she's in real estate. So is that her real apartment? Does her real apartment actually have all of that stuff in it? Where she got a friend, she got a family. She had no pictures of her mama. She had no pictures of her grandmama, no cousins, no brothers, no sisters, no line sisters, nothing. And then she's trying to sell to us that she's a minimalist. And then we go up in that closet, and it's just telling the truth. That closet is telling us everything about her that she doesn't want to communicate, to the rest of us. So, just throwing that out there. I'm going to continue. I still see Kirsten as wheat. I do not see her. No, I still see her as a tear. I see her as a tear. I do not see her as wheat. And Shaq is quasi to me. I still see Jasmine as wheat, and I still see Eris, as a tear. So I just wanted to be able to put that information, in there. And I'll see you guys on episode number 10.